We are going to get started here. We've got another couple presentations as part of our innovation showcase portion of the day. So we're going to be inviting up 3 more companies to talk about their solutions. And first up, Karen, I see you in the back there. We've got Enviro Integration Strategies to talk about the solution that her and her team are building. So Karen, come on up here.
Haven't heard anybody else get a go Karen, so that's awesome to start. So I'm Karen Chovan. I'm the CEO and founder of Enviro Integration Strategies. And I've been working in mine waste management for 25 years. And I tell you, the last 5 years minimum have been a crazy whirlwind of overwhelm for all of the tailings managers out there. A lot of things going on. And so the platform that we've built is to help give time back to the tailings risk managers so they can focus on the right damn things. All right. So we're in the business of helping prevent catastrophic waste failures. There are 2 to 3 serious failures every single year somewhere around the world with devastating consequences. And it says 20,000 facilities estimated, but there's probably more like 30,000. And there's a lot of other waste infrastructure associated with those. So we want to stop these things from happening. Because of the most recent failures in Brazil, new standards came into play in 2020, and they are being enforced by the investment community. And so there's been this race to assess facilities against these standards and to put in a lot of new protocols by companies around the world. But ICMM members in particular are committed to having this in place by 2025, next year, August. So transparency and oversight is critical and it's necessary. However, it has pulled the attention of those risk managers who should be managing the risks to sitting behind desks and doing a lot of assessments and providing documents for audits and all sorts of things, and really just pulling their time away from what needs to be done. So our system has been built to address not just that challenge, but to pull in all of the information about these complex systems. Every single facility is unique, and they have a lot of inputs, a lot of interconnected systems, and a lot of interconnected people managing things to make them safe and effective. There's a lot of people internally and externally, a lot of siloed teams. We heard yesterday about the silos. It's a real problem. Information is dispersed, not only in different, sorry, I keep hitting this, not only in different departments and different databases, but also externally within consulting firms and review boards and all of these other places. We also have lifelong facilities, and with that, people leave roles, companies, and so on over time, and you have a real risk of a loss of knowledge. And we really need to know all of the information about these systems and how they, all of the different bits interact to assess the risks effectively. So we've built an all-in-one risk governance platform, which is meant to centralize all of the information, the knowledge base about the infrastructure that a company owns. Not just one site, but all of their sites. We want everything in one hub, so you have information at the tip of your fingers when you need it, and you can use that information to manage the risk. Now, this is a project that initiated in 2019 with Agnico Eagle. They have a lot of different infrastructure, and they wanted to be able to communicate better to their management, how to make better decisions using the information at hand, and also have an ability to compare all of their facilities that are unique, but in a consistent fashion. They've been using our tool, our MVP, for the last 2-3 years now. So we have 5 key capabilities of our MVP right now: the consolidation of the technical knowledge, the consistent evaluation process for looking at the maturity of practice as well as converting that to a quantified risk. We have the ability to capture all the details about the risks, the gaps, the uncertainties, the assumptions made for those different structures, as well as pull that information into clear displays for communications and decision-making. Now, having all this information in one hub helps to accelerate audits and assessments and reviews and updates over time. So now just to highlight 3 of those things, right? So you can see on the right a little graph that shows a bunch of dots, but what you can see is a snapshot of that portfolio of infrastructure, how each of them stack up and compare against each other in one chart. That helps you to see which ones pose the highest level of risk, and then you can go and drill into the details of the system to find out what are those gaps, what are those things you need to take care of, and how do you fix those things. And now this is a system that, while it was aimed at tailings first, it's actually applicable to all geo-infrastructure. So tailings dams, water dams, waste rock piles, heap leach piles. We've heard recent failures in the Yukon and Turkey of heap leach facilities. They all have the same kinds of risks for their stability. The visuals for communication, so we're working on different types of graphs and different ways of displaying the data. It's really a matter of how you want to look at things. So we're developing different options and ease of filtering the data, looking at only the sites you want to, or comparing particular facilities, and issuing those for graphs, reports, and facilitating that communication. So when we're talking about transparency, having access to this information, you can share it with your regulators, with your communities. You can use it internally. I mean, we need radical transparency. We need it internally first. We don't even communicate well enough internally. And then having all of this information in one hub really facilitates updates to those evaluations over time, tracking the changes, what has changed, the history, and evidence that you have, not just saying you have a document that says you did a study, but having details about what is the interpretation of that information, what are the risks, how are you managing that, what are the controls, what's your story. You can pull all of that out. And the audit piece, as I mentioned, every company is doing cyclical audits, right? So if you have a handful of facilities and you have to assess each one annually, and then every 3 or 5 years do external verification of those audits on top of it, you're always pulling information to provide to somebody else to support those audits. It takes a lot of time to do that. And if you can just give them access to this system, say, here it all is, find what you need, or help them find it more quickly, it's save you a lot of time. So this is meant to be a portfolio tool for a company to look at all of their facilities. It is and can be used for one site only, but it's very nice if you have everything in one hub and have it at the corporate level. You can also use it for training and giving information to new hires, new advisors, new review board members, and so on. So yeah, just to summarize the benefits, consolidated risk-based information, portfolio-wide, knowing what your state of practice is across your organization and how that may vary in different regions. What does it really mean? How risky are we? Really good insights. Having visibility on the actions that need to be taken care of to keep people safe, and then all of this time savings in all of the updates over time. We do have plans on expanding, and in fact, our MICA project was focused on taking our MVP and listening to the voice of the customers out there. We heard all of them like our all-in-one solution. However, we have this platform we're using for one thing and this platform we're using for another, and may not want to actually switch off of those. So we're rebuilding our system so that we can plug and play with those other things. Companies can choose which functionalities they want to use with us and then still connect to those other systems and have one hub. So that's what we're looking at. We're building in the ability to report against the different standards that are out there as well, so connecting the dots between the risk part as well as the reporting part, and then having some machine learning and AI come on to actually be able to query the system and learn from it, do summaries and so on, and maybe in the future be able to predict a few things. And we have a bunch of other things we want to develop. I'm not going to go into the details. If you want to talk to me, come and chat. And just to say also, we're not just a software producer. We are we have the ability to support companies wherever they're at, because we also have the consulting side. So if you're just learning and helping your teams learn about risk and understand the risk about your facilities, we can do training in that capacity. We can help identify risks, failure modes, and so on with multidisciplinary teams, go to the sites to do those things. We can help accelerate conformance to the standards if that's where you're at, as well as in our own system, the digitization, records compilation, and reviews over time. I'm just going to switch over because I think I'm out of time here. So right now we are looking for partners to help us pilot what we're building and give us feedback. And what else would you like to see? We're also looking for funding to help support some of that development. And also companies who just want to adopt what we have and continue to move forward on their risk journey. So we want companies to be able to focus on the right damn things, and we're here to help you. So, questions?